10 out of 10, favourite of the season, free. Sorry Omnilander, you held the title for long enough. Now it's SpongeBob o'clock. I don't care that this isn't how I usually start these. This is the happiest an episode has made me in God knows how long. Other than Saitama vs Popeye of course, which is on a pretty untouchable pedestal for me. If they can somehow top this season, I'll be beyond impressed. But I don't know how that's even possible outside of maybe the finale. Or if they do Gru vs Megamind, because I'm still on copium with that match. That's not explaining why I feel that way though, so I should probably do that. Starting with the analysis, by far my favourite of the season. I love how Wiz starts off underestimating SpongeBob, then grows more respect for him as he continues to freak out over Toon Force and eventually come to accept the Bob as our Lord and Saviour. And comedically, it's just as strong as I'd like. There are so many great lines and references to the show which put a huge smile on my face. Far more than even Bond vs Wick could ever. Even the corner boxes are on point in that regard, which I could have never expected. I also gotta love how the opening focuses on the possible nuclear origin of undersea sentience in SpongeBob's world. The tonal whiplash between that and the rest of the analysis coupled with the jovial music playing over it is fantastic. I expected Aquaman's analysis to be the weakest link of the episode, and yeah, I don't adore it quite as much as SpongeBob's rundown or the fight scene, but it's still pretty amazing. I mean, it opens with the long-awaited return of That's Right Boomstick, a line that's been dormant, waiting to return ever since Yoshi vs Riptor. This is everything I've ever wanted, I'll never ask for anything again. The rest of Aquaman's rundown is a lot of fun. I like how it parallels SpongeBob's, with Wiz starting off by hyping him up, grasping at whatever straws he can to try and avoid the inevitable realization that Aquaman straight up sucks. Hell, they don't even beat around the bush, they outright say that SpongeBob's gonna win before Aquaman's analysis is even over. This leads into a praise I never expected would be notable enough to bring up, because why would it be? But this is the best interlude before the fight in the series, with Wiz saying that there's only one way that this battle's gonna end. One more Superman who's never gonna walk again. And yeah, I know what people are gonna say to complain about this, that it's a spite match. My sincerest condolences go out to all 4 fans of Super Friends Aquaman in the world who aren't just in it for the solid JJ videos. But seriously, I've taken issues with spite fights in the past, but that all comes down to the execution. There is a difference between them shitting on a character while playing an episode completely straight, compared to a gag episode where the whole point of a character getting shat on is that he sucks. I would compare this a lot more to something like Deadpool vs Mask rather than Mewtwo vs Shadow, except I think it's better executed here, since it isn't with a character who's greatly overstayed his welcome on the show. I also gotta say this is easily the best voice acting for Wiz and Boomstick in any episode. Chad is usually pretty consistent with how he plays Boomstick, and it's no different here. He does excellent as always, but Ben usually plays a more low energy role as Wiz. Maybe he'll occasionally raise his voice or get annoyed, but he doesn't usually bring as much energy to the table because of the inherent difference between the characters. Throw that all out the window for this episode. Remember Raiden vs Excalibur? This is the manic energy he brought to that, but dialed up to 12. His confused reactions to SpongeBob's Toon Force, his increasingly desperate voice as he tries his damnedest to hype Aquaman up to no avail, his sheer bewilderment at the speed calc in the conclusion. This is by far the funniest Wiz has ever been, and you could not have picked a better episode for it. Oh yeah, and the conclusion's good too. Covers how much of a stomp it was while poking fun at the extremely close match line, still goes into Aquaman's few unreliable win cons, Wiz ends by calling SpongeBob our god after declaring him the winner, and this probably has my favourite Boomstick ending pun. I use that word very loosely here because it's not really a play on words at all, but the smile it put on my face by ending the SpongeBob episode with the word sweet victory is matched by very few episodes in the series. None of this is even addressing the animation, which I think is topped Hercule vs Dan as my favourite Sprite episode ever. In fact, I think this has topped that as the funniest episode of the series overall while it was at it, but on specifically the animation, I mean, I might as well get the obvious positive out of the way that's consistent across almost every episode this season. The visuals are stunning. The underwater world looks gorgeous, the effects are top notch, especially the goddamn Bifrost around SpongeBob at the end, the hand-drawn stuff's solid, but the thing I most want to give attention to is the sprites. Origin the PogChamp went off with the Xenotrunk sprites last time, but those don't even hold a candle to how amazing the SpongeBob sprites look here. They're arguably the most expressive custom sprites they've ever used, with not a single shot looking awkward or janky to me across the whole fight. Same goes for the Aquaman sprites, which were also incredibly well made, and I'm always a sucker for good lip syncing animation, which this episode has plenty of. The combat and the animation is a ton of fun. SpongeBob nonchalantly tanking the punches at the start was about what I was expecting and hoping for, but Aquaman still gets to land some good attacks here and there. SpongeBob is still the first to deal serious damage, but it's not like Aquaman spends the entire fight getting tossed around like a ragdoll. Ironically enough, this is more of an even back and forth than Thor vs Vegeta. Anyway, yeah, Aquaman gets to do about everything I expected from him. He punches in a not altogether incompetent way, he talks to some fish, Yeah, that's about all I expected. I wasn't losing much sleep if he didn't bring out the heat ray because they explain why that's irrelevant in the conclusion. But just when I thought it was over, they went above and beyond by giving Aquaman his trident from the comics, because why the hell not? Rick Sanchez was in a generous mood apparently. Generous enough to drop Aquaman here in the first place. And this trident seems to give Aquaman enough residual power even when it's gone, to where he can do this. Does this make sense? Absolutely not, but it's cool as shit, so I do not care. And on SpongeBob's side, yeah, it's not a fair comparison between him and Aquaman. This entire animation kind of feels like a love letter to him with how much they include. The karate gear, bubble rockets, magic pencil which he uses to create an army of doodlebobs, his absorption abilities, even his spatula shows up as a weapon at the start despite him never getting it back. On top of that, there are a bunch of small visual gags and references to SpongeBob's Golden Age which I appreciate. The hall monitor face and voice coupled with a reference to We Saved This City, the My Leg bet, a time card with a French narrator voiced by the guy who forgot about Schrodinger or something, a dolphin whistle being used to censor swearing, the stock explosion footage, Aquaman's hyper-realistic mouth. SpongeBob even gets to quote all the insults thrown towards him in the movie. Oh yeah, and they even pay homage to his lesser-known crossover with Columbo. That was nice to see. Even outside of the references, the jokes are great. The freeze frames are pretty funny, especially the one where they neuter each other. Aquaman wheezing at getting hit in the gut by a bubble is great. You know, I'm kind of just listing a bunch of things that made me laugh or smile rapid fire, but like, that's kind of what this entire episode is to me. Not that the jokes are the only way the episode excels though, because against all odds, this fight somehow actually hits strong emotional beats for goddamn Super Friends Aquaman. How in the hell did they... Okay, so Aquaman gets to see into the multiverse and realize he's the lamest version of himself across all timelines. Something that could easily be played for laughs, and yeah, it is still pretty funny. But having SpongeBob sympathize with him, try to encourage him, and then have the rest of the fight play out with the two on good terms, giving the other a chance to show off their true strength, yeah, that works incredibly well for me. It feels perfectly in character for SpongeBob. Even more than that though was the ending. The kill is an accident after they both got too into the fight. SpongeBob feels actual guilt and sadness over it to the point of tears, and Aquaman goes out saying they should be super friends. This prompts SpongeBob to draw something, which I assumed was going to be a Frankendoodle Aquaman or something. Instead, it's a grave he makes to show his respect for his new friend. All fight he'd been getting Aquaman's name wrong with stuff like Mermaid Man, Water Man, Sea Man, which yes, that last one is incredibly funny. And normally I wouldn't care much for that running gag. It's definitely the least funny bit of the fight to me, but it serves to make the shot of the grave calling him Ocean Man have that much more impact. Why does this ending go so hard? Why does this episode go so hard in general? I think it can be partially attributed to the excellent voice cast. Keston Howard as Aquaman gets across the campy lines very well, which is about all I wanted, while also managing to sell some legit cool lines towards the end. And Tom Schalk does excellent with SpongeBob. Is it a flawless impression? Obviously not. SpongeBob's voice is not an easy one to replicate, and I do think it is a little deeper than it should be, but Tom still has a very good impression that feels like the character, especially with how well he has the mannerisms down. The iconic laugh is sold amazingly, as is the character's generally high level of energy and enthusiasm. The I'm ready at the end might be my favourite line delivery of the entire fight, and damn, that final line as they put their all into one last attack is phenomenal. The track's also a bop. Not one I'd listen to on its own, but it complements everything perfectly. My favourite part is probably the triumphant ending portion as SpongeBob pulls the pencil out of his head. Right, so this episode excels with its analysis, conclusion, visuals, track, voice acting, comedy, even the emotional beats somehow. Overall, pretty solidly one of my favourite episodes of all time. But this is usually the point where I bring myself back down to reality and go over everything I didn't like that I might have forgotten to bring up before. Alright, let's see here. The SpongeBob clones feel kind of pointless since they don't do anything with them. You could have Aquaman react the same funny way from SpongeBob regenerating from mist. And then... that can't be everything, right? Surely there's gotta be more. I wish we got to see SpongeBob in the Goofy Goober outfit as he rocketed back to Earth. The sky goes from blue to orange off screen within like 2 seconds somehow. I'm really trying here, guys. The squid sprite here is a bit blurry. The Squid Game they got that from is probably not very good. Okay, no, there's nothing else. Basically everything in this episode works for me. Like I said before, this is a 10 out of 10 episode to me. I could prattle on and on about each individual joke I found funny, or shot in the animation I thought was cool, or line delivery Ben popped off for, but I think you kinda get it by now. It's an episode that feels like nothing else Death Battle's ever made. Somehow pulling off being a spite match in a way that works, acting as a love letter to a show that made up a huge part of my childhood, one I hold very near and dear to my heart, but above all else, it's just fun. Dumb, chaotic, cartoony fun that sticks to the spirit of both characters, having basically no major drawbacks. I said this was my favourite of the season already, but other than Saitama vs Popeye, I think it's my favourite episode we've gotten in like the last 4 years. More than Omni-Man vs Homelander, Dio vs Alucard, Yoda vs King Mickey, Ganondorf vs Dracula, everything since Jack vs Afro. And even then, this is pretty neck and neck with taking Jack vs Afro's spot in my top 5. It's such a phenomenally well put together passion project, and I can't think of any victory sweeter than that. And goddamn guys, cool it with the banger matchups. I'm so excited for Jason vs Michael. I'm not a horror guy at all, I am, as they say, a little bitch, but this is a genre that feels long overdue for the spotlight. I predicted this one like I did with SpongeBob, but like, this was less a lucky shot in the dark and more just everyone had already connected the dots, which Ben would go on to blatantly say in a cast episode. My friends and I were all betting on this one, but then DJ We Don't Know If It's Cloud Tiki decided Ben made the guessing game way too easy and wanted to make us all second guess ourselves over nothing. So when we were discussing what Ben said in the call and whether or not it would be a fake out, he went and hit us with the, "Oh man, Ben knows what he's doing, that's so mean." Absolute cringe-ite behaviour. But it was still kind of funny. My friend group is excited overall, but the horror buffs especially are more stoked than I've ever seen them. The reaction to the Next Time trailer at the end of the highlight reel should say it all. Consider this your volume warning for that if you stick around to watch it. Speaking of which, yeah, that's all I got for today. Goated episode, goated Next Time, even a goated Q&A research blog, which I would recommend reading if you have the time. It does great answering all the hard-hitting questions you may have about the conclusion. Hopefully you all enjoyed this review, remember to check Nem's one out as well, and enjoy the highlight reel, which is about 90% just laughter this time. Oh, and whatever this is.
This is surely so impressive. This grill is not. This is not the slow I know.
No! What the hell is that? No! Why? Why?
But they were crying.
Why
they just like they just cut to a random ass fucking up.
Why does anime food look so good?
Yeah, why does anime food?
Brandon, let it play. You let it play.
No.
Let it play.
Empire song, let's go.
I refuse. I refuse.
See
But I know one more way we can celebrate before the episode comes out.
Yes! I genuinely hate you.
This is the greatest day of my life, actually.
Sorry, dude, why did you have to make this shit?
Fuck you guys. You guys are scum. I hate you. Fuck you. You guys are the worst. You guys are Ben 10 the worst. Fuck you guys. Fuck you.
Okay, I'll give you the remote.
That's so cool!
Fuck you. Fuck you. You're lame. Fuck
What is
you.
that window? What is that window? This is so weird looking at seeing SpongeBob footage here.
If Liam snuck you into this one, that'd be so funny.
Oh, I'm so excited.
You know, I would take that over Black Adam Apocalypse.
The Aquaman first?
They're going into like the nuclear stuff that led around the
Wow, we're already
Bikini
getting
Bomb.
SpongeBob feet.
Bikini
What the
Atoll?
fuck?
Are they doing Bikini Atoll?
Oh, they're just watching
They going with the theory?
Is this canon?
amazing.
Wait, no, this isn't canon, is it? This is so stupid. Let's go! Let's go!
Oh my god. This is beautiful.
The theory
I am so giddy.
conscious.
Oh, Tiki's go. Tiki's go.
Plankton!
Spud.
Yeah.
Come on, say it.
Come on.
Oh!
There he is.
I wanted to sing the song. I don't know about and no one wants to be a Squidward.
Yeah, Boomstick spitting facts.
Or do we kill him?
He shits himself every time he takes it.
This is the best already.
Whoa. There he is.
I don't.
We really were missing out. Damn.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes.
I thought that was just a picture from like the cage fight. Goofy Goober Rock!
DJ, thank you.
What? Stay with me.
Wiz is so happy.
Why did he say Green Lantern?
Wiz is hyping him up.
Because his bubbles can become anything.
Oh.
Oh, what are you kind of waiting?
Are we gonna get Doodle Boomstick? Doodle Boomstick right now.
Boomstick magic pencil.
By the way, this means the magic pencil is part of his arsenal.
Yes.
I'm calling the police.
Oh my!
Oh my god.
Wait, Boomstick has a win con now. Doodle.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I forgot he did that. And that's like the second episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like episode 2.
Oh my
God.
Magic burger.
Oh no!
Oh boy.
My mind control.
Here it is.
Oh no! Bye bye.
There it is.
Aquaman.
Aquaman, you.
What the fuck? I'm not sure I've ever misjudged a character.
Amazing.
Yes, based Wiz. Based Wiz.
This episode's already amazing.
I love this so much.
Yeah.
No! No!
Oh no.
There's one episode called Squid Baby.
That was literally the worst episode ever.
That was
amazing.
Go! Alright, we can talk about the SpongeBob analysis now. We got time. Very cool.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Fucking good, dude.
He said that's right, guys, he said that's right, Boomstick. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, he did. That's awesome.
That's right, Boomstick.
That's right, Boomstick.
The episode's so good. I love this. Mad.
I do wonder if Batman has magic in this show.
Fuck off. Oh, watch out, SpongeBob.
Oh shit! Oh wait, hold on.
That is a win cut. That's
What?
possibly a
Oh,
win cut.
watch out, SpongeBob. He's got heat ray. You're doomed.
He actually scales to pre-crisis Superman's speed. Who can glitch and he overheats SpongeBob.
with another person.
This
is a lot, I guess.
Swimmer, able to
That is a
travel
lot,
from
Boomstick.
Florida to Mace.
Good for him.
Water.
Good for him, yeah, come on.
Water-based also.
What if Aquaman mind controls SpongeBob and he commands him just to stand in the heat ray for like 10 minutes?
It's Alator. This Aquaman kind of sucks ass.
No, this Aquaman's awesome. He's gonna win. He's a winner.
What is going on?
Hit that guy in the way.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Wiz is Ben is popping up for the
Yeah, no, he's hilarious in this episode. Whoa, hey, yo!
Oh, wow.
These are...
Uh-oh.
Was when he
That's him moving the Death Battle fan base.
Oh my god.
Hey. Jesus Christ. Oh, you know, I really don't like when they disrespect these characters. They show more respect.
but sucks.
Hey, come on, what do you mean? Gar's trying his best.
Garbage.
I think this might be my new favorite episode of the season.
This is very fun.
It's so funny.
This is a fun episode.
This is fun.
Okay, yeah. Now they're getting defeats.
Now it
He can kick our ass.
He could probably kick your ass. Not Max's.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Oh, this is blatantly said.
Bro, this is the greatest episode of all time.
One possibility.
Oh my god.
Whoa, this is
episode for real.
this is really weird.
This is legit a spite match, but it's so funny.
Yo.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yo.
Aww.
I like
Hey,
his
good
voice.
voice. Good
I like
voice.
his
Good
voice a
voice.
lot.
Yes, I love that so much.
These sprites look so nice.
Oh, dude. What?
Oh, I love that.
That was gruesome.
He actually said the type of sponge he is. That's cool.
They got him down so well. Oh my god.
Oh, the Mermaid Man theme is in here. Oh my god,
Get fucked.
Oh my god.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Yeah, no, on the line, shoot. Been over top. Oh my god.
Oh my god, this is so good. I love this.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh my god. This is.
We're having an actual character moment here. That's cool.
Oh,
This is great.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
I'm ready.
I love this so much. The fact they gave some respect to him in the fight.
Doodle Bob!
So nice.
They gave him a legit
That's
character
actually dope. I
moment.
like
They
that.
gave.
Yeah,
How
well,
did they do that?
He's gonna close the door on him.
No way.
Oh, he's gonna unravel it.
he's gonna unravel it. Oh my god.
Whoa!
This is so fun.
Oh my god.
I love that.
Oh! But he
Oh,
won!
he draw something in his memory.
Wait.
Oh! Let's go!
It's true,
Yeah,
Mr.
let's
Krabs. He was
fucking go.
number one.
This is my favorite of the season, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's
great.
So nice.
Honestly, best Wii series.
That was brilliant. Oh my god, that was so good.
Wait, did he just say this was an extremely close match and then pull out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
This episode's fucking great.
No Biff Weed cameo.
Oh my god, this was so amazing.
I'm surprised
Everything
the
I
route
wanted
they
to be and
they
more.
took it.
How
It
did
makes
they
sense
give
for
an
this match.
actual character moment?
That's fun. He'd be familiar with what Aquaman could do because he's a fan of Mermaid Man. That's fun.
Obviously, if it was like a normal death battle, they constantly trading abilities.
Even Mermaid Man would kick his ass.
This was a cool way to do it. It is technically a spite match, but it's like actually fun. It is Super Friends Aquaman. It's not Shadow, so who gives a shit?
Shit, zillion.
Let's see if there's a number.
Why?
I think he has the fastest calc in death battle.
Let's go, SpongeBob.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Amazing.
I'm kind of glad they didn't do Chowder now.
Ben-
I'm actually like.
I don't know if Ben and Chad watches. Y'all did. That was like some of the best
Yeah.
voice performance y'all have ever had.
100%.
Oh my god, they brought it up!
Won the moral victory.
Everything else was Mao. Oh my god. Dumbass!
Yeah! Son of Wukong, who?
I'm not gonna
SpongeBob.
deny it.
My god.
Yes! Alright, hold on. Let's have Max. Max, the floor is yours.
Alright, Max. Okay.
The floor is yours, Max.
Yeah, let Max have the
Alright,
floor.
Max. Let's let Max have the floor.
By downloading the battle music.
Alright, Max. Sorry, buddy.
For real, Jason vs. Michael, please.
Oh!
Games have to do.
Oh!